I've never seen that before. Hello folks, my name is Alex Burnham. Welcome to the Motorsport Detective. My mini motorsport mystery this time is an 8mm cine film from an unknown race. So we're going to digitise it and then we'll see what we've got. Motorsport is dangerous. It is that. Alright, so British Racing and Sports Car Club, the BRSCC. That's the floor. There we go. Sports cars, what I think is Brands Hatch. Yeah, I think that's Paddock Hill Bend coming down up towards the hairpin. Yeah, there we go. Definitely Brands Hatch. And I think we're looking in I don't know, early 60s. Possibly a bit before. Late 50s maybe. So sports cars, various things. Oh, hang on. That was... yeah, there it is. An Austin or a Nash Metropolitan. That's a strange thing. Hang on, I think let's go back and have another look at that. I've never seen that before. Austin Metropolitan convertible racing. Oh, well, that's definitely a unique thing. Interesting bit of footage. Now I've got to find out a bit more about that. The Austin Metropolitan, fun little city car, I suppose. Rather a unique design. Never really caught on. Sold as the Nash Metropolitan over in America, and has sort of built up a bit of a cult following, I think, but you don't see them very often, and you didn't really see them very often back then, I don't think. And C1 Racing, well, that definitely deserves some investigation. Right, so first off, we're going to start searching for this car. I guess the best thing to do would be have a search online. Now, it turns out, when you search for Racing Austin Metropolitan on the internet, what you find is the website for CCK Historics, who are a team based down in Sussex who race Metropolitan in historic events like at Goodwood. They've got this jaunty little white and aquamarine car, but on their website, interestingly, they have a photo of the same car that's in the cine film. It's a bit clearer in the photos, but it's the same number, 43. It's a convertible at Brands Hatch. Unfortunately, they don't seem to have much information on it either. They're asking for people who might not have any knowledge of it to get in touch. But what it does give us is that registration number of the car. So let's do a quick search and see if we can find out anything about it. Unsurprisingly, there's very little information on the government website about that registration, so I'm guessing the car no longer exists. So I thought what I'd do is contact CCK Historic and see what information they've got on the photos on their websites. I got an email back from CCK, and they basically, the photo was found for them in an old book about racing at Brands Hatch. So they've got zero information on that car. And I suspect I might have the only cine film of that car, because I've never seen anything before and there's absolutely nothing on it on the internet. So we need to find out what event we're racing at to try and put a bit of context to that. The trouble with having this unusual car, I thought, Nash Metropolitan Racing would bring up something, but there doesn't seem to be anything online to point me in the right direction. So we've got to try and figure out when this event was. Now we know it's Brands Hatch, that's one point of reference, and I'm pretty sure it's early 60s. The first thing I'm going to try is I'm going to look through the film and find cars that I can recognise, and then from that you can look at when those cars were produced and sort of cross-reference that and work out a bit of a time frame as to when the event might have taken place. So I've made a list in my notebook of all the cars I can recognise in the film, and then I found out what years they were produced from, and so working on sort of the earliest known cars to when they started and ended productions and when it all overlaps, I've got myself a time period from about 1959 to about 1963. So I need to somehow narrow down my 59 to 63 sort of period to try and sort of hone in within that time frame. Right, what I thought I would do is look at some of the registration numbers. A few of the cars in the film show their registration numbers, and I've got from that photograph of the Austin Metropolitan its registration number. So I thought maybe that would help. However, unfortunately, it doesn't. I found this this PDF file explaining all the different registration numbers in Great Britain, and it sort of shows that the registrations that are in the film are the ABC 123 style, this sort of 3 letters 3 numbers type arrangement, before the year prefix came in, and that happened around 1963. What I thought I could try was a bit of visual recognition in the footage, especially where that Nash is running off wide. We can quite clearly see some of the sponsors' advertising hoardings in the background and some of the race-side furniture that is at Brands Hatch. So by comparing that to other photographs from the early 60s which have a date attached to them, it's possible that we could pinpoint when our event took place, or maybe the year at least. Unfortunately, this isn't working. It turns out that those advertising hoardings probably stayed for quite a long while, and nothing I can find online really matches up nicely. Everything's confirming early 60s, but isn't being any more specific than that. Okay, what I thought I might do is look at some of the other cars that are in the footage and see if any of those would be registered. There's nothing in there special enough, no fancy Ferrari or Jaguar D-Type or something that we can really focus on. A huge great pack of minis, well, that doesn't help us narrow things down particularly, because lots of people are racing minis. What I think I'm going to have to do is, within my time period, so 59, 60, 61, 2 and 3, I've got sort of a 5-year period. I can try and find every Brands Hatch race meeting that happened within that 5 years, and then we'll try and narrow it down from there. So I'm using websites like this, racingsportscars.com, and they have lists of most race meetings on there that took place at Brands Hatch between 59 and 63. Maybe not everything, but certainly quite a lot. So by using this, I can firstly get a list of all events that happened, and then secondly I can start to use some of the information they've got on here to try and eliminate or find potential races that could be on our footage. Part of the issue I have is that sometimes information is incomplete, and so although I might know of an event that took place or a race specifically, I don't always have the full entry lists, I don't always have a full list of numbers and cars that were available and all that sort of thing. So although it gives me some clues, it doesn't necessarily give me all the answers. Alright, so in my notebook again I've got a list of all the years, and each year I've sort of got maybe 10 race meetings that could be the one in our cine footage, and I'm going to have to go through some of these individually one by one and find a reason why it could or could not be. For example, I've got a race on the 29th of August in 1959. However, I know from what sources I can find that that had Jaguar D-types in it. Now there's no Jaguar D-types in my cine footage. Now that doesn't mean there weren't any there. Could be that our cameraman just didn't film that race or didn't film those cars. But we've got to start somewhere. So we're going to sort of assume that if it's not in our footage, it wasn't there. Might turn out to be a big assumption, but well, fingers crossed. So we can cross out some of them due to cars being there or not being there, as is the case. So it seems this mystery is a bit deeper than I first thought. What I think I'm going to have to do is go away and do some more research. I'm going to have to see how much source material I can find, original programs or something that I can trawl my way through, see if I can identify something from that footage. In the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, find me on social media, and come back again when, with any luck, we'll have some answers to all of these questions.